Welcome to Navigation and Discovery with Cameron Singh. I'm very happy you were able to tune into this podcast. You're in store for a special podcast where you get a good preview of my new book, or my first ever book, Navigation and Discovery. You're going to get a preview of the first chapter of the book in this podcast episode. And if you would like to follow along, you can text the word Cameron to 833 212 2557. Again, it's Cameron at 833 212 2557. And this will give you access for the first three chapters for free. This is my gift to you. So again, you can text the word Cameron to the number 833 212 2557. Really hope you enjoy the first chapter of my first book, Navigation and Discovery. Enjoy.
Introduction. You are probably wondering, who is Cameron Nathan Singh and why did this person write a book? Why is this person relevant and why should I read this book? Well, this book is a way for me to help you by sharing my message and story of growing up and becoming a young professional. I also would like to show how my faith is such an important part of that story. I'm not going to give you steps to live out a better life. Instead, this book will recount events that took place throughout my late teens and 20s. I hope you are able to learn from my stories, struggles, and wins. Life is not easy today for young people. There are so many pressures from the world that want to steer them in the wrong direction, farther away from God. I experienced that myself when I pursued the pleasures of the world, and they did not give me any satisfaction or happiness. That pursuit resulted in nothing but emptiness. I'm so thankful for my mother for raising my young sister Cheyenne and me in the church and getting us involved through Sunday school and Wednesday night youth group. Though I may not have liked it or enjoyed it sometimes growing up, I now understand that God was working something in me, and I continue to lean on and pursue faith through thick and thin. Life is a journey, and navigating through my late teenage years and 20s was an excursion in and of itself. I learned so much about myself and my purpose, path, and faith. I hope that my story and journey help you. Before we continue, I want to share a little bit about myself. You will hear more through my stories, but I want to at least share some information about who Cameron Nathan Singh is. I was born and raised in Northern California in a city called San Bruno. The city of San Bruno is the city closest to San Francisco International Airport. Growing up in San Bruno and in close proximity to a large airport, I saw airplanes taking off over the house in which I grew up. I watched jumbo jet airliners take off westward towards the Pacific Ocean. I got an even closer view of the airplanes at my grandparents' house as they lived closer to the airport near the Tan Fran Mall. I loved watching the airplanes so much that my parents would take me to the waterfront in Burlingame on the weekends to watch airplanes land. We used to picnic, ride bikes, and take walks there. I enjoyed that so much. My parents knew I was fascinated by airplanes. They stirred up something within me. I will share more of that in the next chapter. I now work within the aviation industry and have been doing so for the last decade. No, I'm not a pilot. I work on the private aviation side of the industry that specialize in business surrounding private jets. I also have a dear passion for leadership, and I currently co-host a podcast called The Leadership Download, which is geared toward the younger generation. I recently started a short-term rental business with aspirations to expand into real estate investing on the side. I will explain more of this also as I share my story and journey. One Bible passage that has always stood out to me is Jeremiah 29:11 and some of the verses after that. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I will be found by you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back from captivity. I will gather you from all the nations and places where I have banished you, declares the Lord, and will bring you back to the place from which I carried you into exile. Jeremiah 29:11-14. Jeremiah 29:11 specifically is a well known Bible verse, yet the verses after verse 11 are also powerful. Jeremiah mentions that we will call on him, pray to God our Father, and he will listen to us. He will bring us back from captivity and out of the valley. Faith is so difficult, and the journey of faith is challenging. However, continuing to seek the Lord, as Jeremiah says, will bring you out of captivity. At times, you may hit a valley and feel like there is no way out because you have not found the answer you are looking for. Continue to seek God and pursue Him. I know it can be difficult since I have faced more valleys than I have ever imagined over the last decade, but I am stronger now than ever before in my faith. And that is what this book is about: my journey, the story of my faith, finding purpose, and pursuing faith. I will go over several topics that I feel young people need to hear. Society tells us where to go, what to pursue, whom to compare ourselves to, and the way we should live. The questions that matter most are: what is the life you want to live, and what do you want to pursue? Yes, the journey may not be easy, but it provides happiness, and you cannot take it without God and living out your faith. I'm going to share the importance of higher education and how it still continues to play an important part in my passions and pursuits. I will share my faith and dive deep into my experiences of college and life throughout my 20s. I will also discuss how I found my passion and calling. Now, this doesn't mean I have fully realized them. This is more like sharing the path of how I came to find what I am doing today. I learned so much through my transition from college to the marketplace and navigating within an organization. I'm going to share my experience and lessons learned, discussing such topics as networking, looking the part, setting yourself apart, and mentorship. Additionally, I'm going to share raw stories of times when I faced failure and mistakes. I learned many lessons through these failures and mistakes, and I want you as a young person to learn from them too. Lastly, the book will end with how faith evolves through it all and how God is part of our journey, even during times when we may feel far from Him. At a Global Leadership Summit conference I attended in 2018, Pastor Erwin McManus of Mosaic Church mentioned, "I live for this purpose. I want people who are so afraid to get up and live life again. I want them to know that their pain was not the limit of their life. You need to go through pain to step into greatness. There's going to be pain, without a doubt, and it will be different for each person. However, I came out of college thinking there would be no pain. All would be great, and my first job would come with a six-figure salary. Well, that didn't go as planned. Through this book, I hope to help you navigate life and pursue your true calling. Many people love to provide the 5 simple steps, but I want to share my stories and struggles. Finding your passion and calling is not something that just comes automatically. It is a journey that I'm still trying to figure out myself. I don't have it all together. Faith is an important part of my life, and yes, my faith in God has been at different levels throughout my life thus far. However, being rooted in the church because of my mom has encouraged me to always come back to God and lean on Him during the highs and lows. I'm not going to show you how to do things. What I want younger generations, emerging leaders, early professionals, and maturing students to understand is that it is not easy to live the life we are called to. Being a person of faith in today's world is not easy. It's very difficult. Learn from my mountains and valleys. While you might love staying on the mountain, it is hard to get up that mountain. It is only through God the Father that we are able to get to the top. There will be more valleys than peaks, but it is in the valley where faith is tested and grows. It is where God is working in you, so you are prepared for the mountaintops. Some of the opportunities that God has presented to me, I could have never imagined myself, and I was only prepared for the mountains from having been in the valleys. I've had this message in my heart for a few years now. I've wanted to share it for so long. and I am so thankful to God for providing this book as an outlet to share my message. I hope that it helps you in your journey wherever you are. I want you to know that there is a God who listens. Seek Him, and He will bring you out of captivity. God has brought you to this world with a purpose, and even though it is an adventurous journey to find that purpose and calling, continue to fight and seek Him. Amen. Enjoy.
Well, I really hope you enjoyed listening into the first chapter of my new book, or my first ever book, Navigation and Discovery. And if you didn't get your copy yet, your free complimentary copy of the first 3 chapters of the book, you can text the word Cameron to 833-212-2557. And if you really enjoyed that first chapter and you want to go ahead and purchase the book, you can go to CameronSinghBook.com and get your copy there. There's several ways, or several formats that you can purchase the book, and really hope you enjoy the book if you're able to get the copy. And if you want to check out the first couple chapters, again, Cameron, you can text the word Cameron to 833-212-2557. And on the next podcast, you're going to hear from a great friend of mine, Charles Westmoreland. He recently came out with his book, Mindset Reset, and we're going to spend some time talking with him about his heart for the book and why it's so important to focus on our minds and how do we shift to that mindset reset. So I really hope you tune in on that next podcast episode. And again, if you found this podcast valuable, feel free to share this on any platform that you may have social media. And also feel free to give a good review on whichever platform you're listening to. And that would be wonderful. Thank you again for tuning in to Navigation and Discovery with Cameron Singh.